Right, so welcome to the madness. Welcome to the madness. There's chickens, there's puppies, there's babies. We're on lockdown. All you need is a chair and a mat.
Are we live?
And we're live. But now I need...
We are here.
Anyway, I guess not. I need it.
Okay, I'll bring it.
Okay. So all you need is a chair, a mat, a lot of energy, and we'll start our workout for today. I think it's 4:15. So welcome everybody. We start off, not going to use the straps today because I know a few of you don't have straps at home. So we're going to do something a little different. We're going to try and do a TRX style, body mechanics style workout, but without the straps. And with just the chair for today. Over the week we'll try and work out some new things to do. So to start, let's go. We're going to put our toes against the back of the chair and hold on to the top of the chair. Knees against the wall. This is going to keep our knees over our ankles. Lift the chest, draw the belly back into the front of the spine, and just holding onto the chair, I'm going to start sliding my hips back. So those of you who have done the class with me before now have a little better idea of what I mean when I say sliding the chest directly down the vertical plane which projects up from the shin bones. So now my knees are sitting on top of my ankles, maybe just a slightly tiny bit forward now because we don't have the straps to hold our body weight. So with my toes against the back of the chair and the knees resting along the upright of the chair, I'm slowly going to slide, holding on nice and tightly to the back of the chair, slide my hips back, keeping the weight driven into the sole side of my big toe joint, squeezing together neatly the bones of the first two toes. That's going to activate the arch of the foot and draw the ankle into the center line. And then with the ball of the big toe joint driving strongly into the floor, I'm going to activate the outside blade of the foot into the floor. One more time, I draw the belly back into the front of the spine, squeezing all the muscles of the abdomen in towards the center line, drawing my upper body out of the hip girdle. Opening the glutes, a little internal rotation of the thigh bones in the hip sockets, a little squeeze, gentle squeeze of the inner thighs together. One more time, opening up the sacroiliac joint. Again, I draw the belly back, lift the collarbone, suck the arm bones into their sockets, rotate the shoulders back, grab one time hold of the chair, lift the collarbone, and slide down a little deeper. If your chair arches back, you can slide that chair forward a little bit so that you've got a little space to move. So if the back of the chair doesn't come up in a straight line, if it arches back, slide it away from your toes slightly so that the arch of the back of the chair is above your toes. And one more time, drawing the belly back, lifting the collarbone, sucking the arm bones into their sockets, rotating the shoulders round and back, activating the shoulder blades into the back of the rib cage and bringing the rib cage into the front side of the shoulder blades. Slowly slide down a little deeper, bending the knees, drawing the tailbone down towards the floor. Huh?
Side on.
Me? We're live here, we're live. I've got my mum on the other side of the camera. Right, now wherever you are, take a big deep breath in, fill the lungs, expand the rib cage, and as you breathe out, pull your tailbone down and squeeze it up. Down, squeeze the glutes. Down, squeeze the glutes. Now I'm going to do a side-on view as per Mum's instruction. And here we go. Down, squeeze the glutes. Down, squeeze the glutes. Down, squeeze the glutes. Keeping the upper body as vertical as you can. So I'm not doing this. Yeah, I'm keeping the upper body vertical, keeping the knees back, using the chair to keep the knees back over the ankles as I open and close, keeping the belly pulled back strongly into the front of the spine. Deep front pelvic muscles drawn back into the front of the spine. Shoulders drawn round and back. And we've got another 20 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. Bottom goes back. Knees don't go forward. That's what the chair's there for. 10, 11, 12. Belly pulled back. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And come up and roll out the hips. So feel the lower back warming up a little bit. Certainly all the muscles in the ball and socket joint of the hip. And then a gentle roll round in the other direction. Really visualizing the thigh bone in the socket of the hip and rotating that bone in the ball and socket joint. So really oiling out all the rusty bits that you've warmed up in that first exercise. Right, and then we go on to round 2 of the squats. So one more time, bringing your feet towards the back of the chair, the legs of the chair. Knees resting against the back of the chair. Chest lifted. Shoulder blades rotated back. Belly pulled into the front of the spine. And very slowly sit those hips back. One more time. Sliding down now a little deeper. A little deeper. As your body warms up, you'll feel yourself be able to go a little deeper. The chair now will stop those knees from floating forward. Again, if your chair arches backwards slightly, here you can just adjust the chair forward a little so that the back of the chair where your knees are is directly above the toes. This is going to stop my toes from floating forward of the knees. Keep my knees safe in the squat. Slide those hips back, lift the chest. Draw the belly back into the front of the spine, using the hands on the front of the chair now to release the body weight in a little deeper. Now those legs should be burning a little. Draw the belly back into the front of the spine. Lift the chest, draw the shoulder blades round and back. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Driving into the big toe joint of the standing feet of the feet, drawing the shoulders back, belly in, chest lifted. Sit down a little deeper. 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6. Belly pulled back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come up. And one more time, roll out the hips. Bend those knees and stand up and squeeze those hips forward. Again, you can just get your hands onto the back of the chair. And now sit the tailbone back and then squeeze the hips forward. And sit the tailbone back and squeeze the hips forward. Pulling up on the thighs as you squeeze forward. Drawing the belly back into the front of the spine so I'm not flopping back into the spine. Arching up and out of the hips as I lean back. And then sit the tailbone back. And one more time, as I squeeze the hips forward, I lift my body out of the hip girdle and reach back, arch back, pull up on the thighs and release. Roll the hips from left, rock the hips from left to right, trying to keep that body in the same plane. So I'm not wobbling about forward and back, just nice and neatly visualizing a wall in front and behind me and slowly working the hips from left to right, left to right. Okay, last of the squat series. Ooh, that's a nice idea. Let's see if we can do that. Right, let's turn the chair around. Yes, okay, lovely. Make sure the chair is nice and stable. You've got your foot very close to the center of the chair so you don't wobble over as you go. Get your left foot up on the chair. Draw the belly back. Lift the chest. Engage the glutes. All the obliques strongly engaged, supporting, stabilizing the middle body, stabilizing the core. And then squeeze that left leg. Come up and down. And let's go. Keep that left knee directly over the ankle. No swaying forward on that front knee. Keep that knee back. Come up and down. That's it. Lean back. If you need to, you can put your hands onto the chair for the first few to feel what it feels like, what muscles you need to stabilize. Then stand up, put your hands, release down. Touch, come up, stand, touch, come down. Once you've got that and you feel strong, belly nice and tight, if the abs are turned off, the upper body will be wobbly, you'll fall over. Once you feel like you've got it with the hands on, then you can release the hands and come up and down. Let's go for 20. 1, down, 2, down, belly pulled back strongly. 3, down, 4, down, shoulders engaged. 5, down, well done. 6, mind puppy down. 7, I'm going to stand on the puppy, down. Right, obstacle course straightening, and 8, that's all right, we can manage. Down, and 9, down, 10, down, draw the belly back. 11, down, 12, down, 13, down, 14, down, 15, down, 16, that's all right, Mum, down.
Not the phone.
Oh, yes. 17, down, 18, down, 19, down, and 20, and down. And let's change legs. Put the right foot up on the chair. Maybe you should do, yeah. Put the right foot up on the chair, again, making sure that the foot is towards the center of the chair, so that it doesn't wobble when you lift. Key here is to draw the belly back. Keep the sides of the abdomen drawn into the center line, body lifted out of the hip girdle, chest lifted, shoulders engaged. Anything's floppy, you're going to fall over. To start off, you can put your hands onto the back of the chair and keeping the right knee over the ankle, just squeeze and come up, release, touch down, and let yourself down. Once you've got the feeling of it and you worked out what muscles are required to stabilize your upper body so that you don't fall over, you can release and come up and down. Concentrating on that right knee, making sure it doesn't go forward of the toes. Trying to keep it back, stacked on top of the ankle for the whole series of 20. So let's go, and belly more drawn back, shoulders, collarbone lifted, shoulders engaged, and let's go. 1 and 2. When you get to the top, pull up on both thighs. 2, 3, pull up on both thighs. 4, pull up on both thighs. 5, belly drawn back. 6, shoulders engaged. 7, strongly into this inside and outside of both of the standing foot, of the right foot, equally engaged into the inside and outside. Oops, puppies. And here we go. 13, down, 14, down, oh dear, and 15, down, 16, down, 17, down, 18, down, 19, down. If you're feeling wobbly, put your hands onto the chair. 20, and release. Right, roll out those hips. So again, we're just working out how to do this well, and so that everybody gets a lot out of it. To start off, we'll stream it live on Instagram like we're doing today, but slowly we'll working out some way of where I'll be able to see all of you. I think we're going to try something called Zoom, where I'll be able to see you and still be able to give you adjustments via my computer screen. But in the meantime, you just need to listen to the instructions and do as best as we can under the circumstances. Right. Let's put the chair back. Puppies. Okay. Let's put the chair back in front of us. And we're going to take the left leg. I'm going to stand driving all the weight strongly into the right leg. In fact, I'm going to turn this sideways again. Driving all the weight strongly into the right leg. Pulling up on the right thigh, draw the belly back, lift the chest. Engage the shoulder blades onto the back of the rib cage, drawing the rib cage back into the front side of the shoulder blades. Engaging the glutes from the outside in towards the center line. I'm going to bend that left knee. So the knee and the hip are at the same height. I'm engaging the right glute to keep the hips at the same parallel to the floor. I don't want to lift it nor sink in. And for this, I engage also the obliques and the sides of the abdomen to use the shoulders to align the hips. So I'm aligning the hips to the floor and the hips to the shoulders. With my feet just elevated above the chair. Not on the chair, it's above the chair. Not sitting on the chair, pulling up strongly on the standing leg, working that standing thigh, drawing all the muscles of the knee up into the hip crease, feeling the knee fully supported on all sides, front, back, left and right. Driving strongly into the big toe joint of the standing foot, outside blade of the foot active into the floor, muscles of the ankle drawn into the center line, calf muscles alive, knee alive, thighs pulled up, standing glute working hard. And now we're going to lift that knee, that foot a little higher and extend that leg and put it on top of the chair. And then in this position, I'm going to draw the belly back. Keep that right leg extended. Try and pull up on that standing thigh, pull up on the lifted thigh. Pulling strongly up, all the muscles of the knee pulled into the hip crease. Driving into the big toe joint of the standing leg, outside blade of the foot active into the floor. Draw the belly back. Deep front pelvic muscles pulled back into the front of the spine. Arch back out of the hips. Hold it, extending that leg away. Pull up on that left thigh. Hopefully you've got a shape by now. If not, you need to get yourself a higher chair. And release. And bring the foot just above the chair again. Draw the belly back. Pull up strongly on the standing thigh. Get the foot of the lifted leg parallel to the floor. Engage the glutes. And very slowly now I'm going to pull this leg out to the left. So now I'm going to change direction and stand in front of the thing. So from this position here with the chair in front of you, stay where you are. I'm going to slowly pull that left hip out to the side. In fact, now I can just pop my hand down and put the chair in front of me so I have something to hold. This is like the equivalent of our straps when we do this exercise. And now I'm just going to bring that left knee out to the side. I'll put my left side so you can see. I'm going to bring that left knee out to the side, pulling the left knee back while I squeeze the left hip forward, trying to bring that body upright out of the hips. So aligning the hips and shoulders in the same plane. Lifting that left knee up to hip height and then pulling the left knee back while I squeeze the left hip forward. Externally rotating the right thigh in a hip socket and trying to align my upper body so that it's vertical to the floor. Then slowly rotate that left hip. Now I'm trying to get the left knee up to the hip height, lifting the upper body, trying to get the upper body as vertical as I can to the floor, and then squeeze the hips forward. Trying to get the knee, hip, belly, shoulders, and standing leg in one plane. There's a wall in front of me, and I'm trying to flatten my front body against that imaginary wall. Lifting the left knee high, pulling strongly up on the standing leg, squeeze the hips forward, draw the belly back, lift the chest, engage the shoulder blades into the back of the ribs. Lift a little higher, squeezing those left obliques, feeling the lower back work. Squeeze that left hip forward, arch back out of the hips. We've got 10 seconds left. 9, 8, 7, 6, I can't wait till I can see you all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And roll out those hips.
I had major stretch in my hand.
Ah, good.
Here.
Nice. It's opening up something new, unlocking something new. Right, let's, now I'll do this next exercise from the front. So now you're standing once again, this way, with the chair facing me. I'm going to lift my right foot now up onto the chair, pulling up strongly on the left thigh. In fact, put that right foot back on the floor. Let's pull up strongly on both thighs. Pull up strongly on both thighs, driving into the big toe joint of the feet, of each foot, squeezing the bones of the first 2 toes together while I activate the outside blade of the foot into the floor. Pull up on all the muscles of the knee. Everything, front, back, sides of each thigh, pulling up strongly into the hip crease, and then lifting yourself, your upper body, out of the hip girdle. Drawing the belly back, lifting the chest, rotating the shoulders back and round, activating the shoulder blades onto the back of the rib cage and drawing the rib cage back into the front side of the shoulder blades. Then, with the weight locked in the left leg, attaching the full hip girdle onto that left thigh with the left glute, I bend that right knee. It's now I've got the chair in front of me, so I've got it just levitating above the chair, the seat of the chair. Belly's drawn back, deep front pelvic muscles drawn back into the front of the spine, shoulders back, back of the neck long, pull up on the thighs, hold it, hold it, hold it. Standing leg should start to burn a little, using the muscles of the feet and the ankles to stabilize the shin bone in the ankle joint. Pushing strongly into the big toe joint of the standing leg, outside blade of the standing foot active into the floor. Right foot parallel to the floor, at 90 degrees to the shin bone, and then take a big deep breath in. And as you breathe out, extend that right leg, and if you need to, just assist it up onto the chair. In future, we may need something just to put on the back of the Achilles, if it's hurting your leg. But now, pulling up strongly on the standing leg, pulling up strongly on lifted thigh muscles, drawing the belly back into the front of the spine, rotating the shoulders back and round, reaching into the heel of the lifted leg, get the feet of the lifted foot at 90 degrees to the shin bone, and the toes splayed up beautifully like 5 little rays of sunshine going up towards the sky. Draw the belly back strongly. The more I engage, excuse me, chicken, wait. Welcome to the madness. Strongly engaging all the deep front pelvic muscles back into the front of the spine. You'll feel the hamstring stretch as you draw the belly back to support the lumbar spine. Collarbone lifted, shoulder blades engaged onto the back of the rib cage, right thigh muscles pulled up strongly into the hip crease. For 10, 9, 8, reaching into the heel, splaying the lifted toes, pulling up on the right thigh, drawing the belly muscles back into the front of the spine. For 3, 2, 1, and release. And again, standing leg now burning. That right foot just levitated above the chair. Ooh, left thigh should be left hip burning now. Belly drawn back into the front of the spine. And very slowly now, externally rotating that left thigh in the hip socket, bring the right leg out to the side. The right leg out to the side. You can touch your hand onto the chair just to stabilize yourself. If you don't need to, don't use it. If you don't need that chair, externally rotating that left thigh in its hip socket, while I draw the right knee out and squeeze this right hip forward, opening up this angle between the left hip and the right thigh. Then align the shoulders, lift the knee a little higher, pull that left knee back, squeeze the right knee back, right hip forward, and then rotate that right leg. Ooh, get that right hip up, pull up on the left thigh, draw the belly back, arch out of the hips. Squeeze the right hip forward, pull the right knee back. Ah, you got it in your hamstring, your lifted hamstring?
No, not this time.
Oh, but last time?
Yes.
Right knee up, good. And then squeeze the hips forward, arch back out of the hips, pull the belly back into the front of the spine. Trying to get that right thigh parallel to the floor, and then squeeze the upper body, engaging the right lower back and the right obliques. For 20, 19, 18, standing leg strong, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, squeeze those hips forward, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, roll out those hips. Roll out those hips. Again, visualizing those thigh bones in the hip socket and rolling the thigh bone round to oil out all those rusty bits that we've heated up now in these exercises. A little squeeze of the hips forward, lifting yourself out of the hip girdle, arching back a little, and then stick the bottom out and come forward, really trying to flatten your upper body now onto your thighs. Flatten the upper body onto the thighs. Then place your fingers into the floor and reach the hips up Pulling up strongly on the thigh muscles, driving into the big toe joint of the feet of each foot. Outside blade of each foot strongly activated into the floor, pulling up on both thigh muscles. Drawing the belly back into the front of the spine, supporting the lumbar spine, lengthening it, creating space between the lumbar vertebra by drawing the belly back and not just compressing it here. I don't want this to be squeezed. I want this to be long, long front abdominal wall, drawn back into the front of the spine, lengthening the vertebra from each other. And then slowly come up, and one more time roll up the hips. Right, now we're going to take the chair to our left side. The chair to our left side. And I'm going to take the weight into my right leg. I'm going to bend the left knee and put the foot out onto the chair. Just adjust yourself so that you've got some space here. What we're going to do here is lift the leg. So again, I'm going to have all 10 toes pointing in a straight line, feet parallel to each other. Feet, hips, shoulders, all in one plane. I don't want to be all conked out here. Feet, hips, and shoulders all in one plane with the belly drawn back into the front of the spine. Glutes open and engaged. I've not squeezed them forward here, shortening them. I've kept them open. A little internal rotation of the thigh bones and the hip sockets. And then from the outside in, I've squeezed the glutes into the base of the spine. Then I've turned an internal rotation of that lifted leg to keep the outside blade of the left foot parallel to the floor. Draw the belly back, lift the chest, engage the shoulder blades into the back of the rib cage. Driving strongly into the standing leg, I'm now going to lift that left foot up and touch. Lift and 2. Lift as high as you can. 3 and hold it. It's not a flap. It's not a flap. It's a lift as high as you can. If it's only 1 inch off the chair, if it's 1 foot off the chair, if it's 1 meter off the chair. But wherever you lift it to, I want you to hold it for a split second. So drawing the belly back, pulling up on the right thigh, lifting the collarbone, engaging the glutes, and let's go for 4. And touch. Don't let that toe float up. Keep the outside blade of the lifted leg parallel to the floor. 5. And up. Body upright as possible. 6. And up. 7. And up. 8. And up. 9. And down. 10. And down. 11. Try and keep your body upright. 12. 3 left. 13. And down. 14. And down. Puppy. 15. And down. And release. And change sides. Right. Now you should have your distance nice and measured. Again, I'm making sure that this thigh is not just rolled open. I've internally rotated this thigh bone strongly into the center line. Both thigh bones rotated internally towards my center line. Not hanging out here. Toes are rotated down so that the outside blade of the lifted foot is parallel to the floor. Pulling up strongly on the left thigh, engaging the ball of the big toe into the floor and the outside blade equally pressed into the mat. Then I squeeze the hips forward a little. And when I say squeeze the hips forward, I squeeze from the outside in. Keep the glutes open. I'm not shortening the glutes. I'm engaging the glutes to support the upper body. Lifting the upper body out of the hip girdle, collarbone lifted, shoulder blades engaged into the back of the spine, both thigh muscles lifted up into the hip girdle, and very slowly locking the weight into that left leg, I'm going to lean back one more time out of the hips and lift that right foot and touch. Try and keep the upper body vertical. So I'm using the obliques and the lower back of the right side. And let's lift 2 and touch. 3 and touch. 4 and touch. Keep that body vertical. 5 and touch. 6 and touch. 7, touch. 8, touch. Put it strongly on the standing leg. Touch. 10, touch. 5 left, puppy. 11, touch. 12, touch. 13, touch. No, puppy. 14, touch. 15, touch, and release. Has she turned it off? No. Okay, lovely. Very good. Let's roll out those hips. And now we're going to bring ourselves down towards down to the floor. Maybe Rajesh can just take the puppy for a little bit. Right, so I'm going to put the chair behind me now. I'm going to come with my hands onto the floor. Feet behind me, just test where you are. Eventually we want to be up in this position. So both feet up on the chair. So you can just test your distances now. Put the chair towards the back of the mat. Alright, then let's come down to the floor. Palms into the floor. Again, my hands are planted directly beneath the shoulders. I'm driving strongly into the first finger and the thumb. And like I described in the standing series, engaging the bones of the first two toes together, so I gently draw the bones of the first finger and the thumb together. I don't squeeze them, but I energetically engage them towards each other. And then with that engagement active, and strongly driving into the thumb side of the wrist, I drive now root into the outside blade of the hand, so that I have equal distribution of weight across the inside and outside of each hand. So when I take my mind into my wrists, I should feel the weight equally distributed across the left and right, and then the energy is drawn into the palm side of the knuckle joints. I'm not hanging into the heel of the hand, driving strongly into the palm side of the knuckle joints, rocking the shoulders forward over the wrists, pulling up on the biceps and the triceps so that my arms are not locked forward. I'm pulling up and out, lengthening out from the wrist, out from the elbow, plugging the arm bones, sucking the arm bones into their shoulder sockets, rotating the shoulder blades round and back, activating the shoulder blades into the back of the rib cage, lifting the rib cage up into the front side of the shoulder blades, drawing the belly up into the front of the spine, extending the right leg, turning the toes under, and lift the left leg and extend it, now with both feet up on the chair. And just here we're going to hold for 1 minute. Again, driving the weight into the palm side of the knuckle joints, pushing, not hanging into the heel of the hand. I don't want to see those fingers lifting off the floor. Full, all the skin of the hand flat onto the mat. Sucking the arm bones into their sockets, drawing the belly up into the front side of the spine. I'm lifting my hips with my abdominals, drawing the deep front spinal muscles up into the front of the spine to support the lumbar spine. Glutes engaged from the outside in, pulling up strongly on the thighs, reaching back into the heels. Shoulder blades rotated round and back. We've got 30 seconds left. Pull up on the thighs. A little internal rotation of the thigh bones and the hip sockets, a gentle squeeze together of the inner thighs. Glutes engaged from the outside in, belly drawn up, belly long. Collarbone lifted towards the base of the skull. Heels pushed away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Then you can just sit back on the heels and slowly walk the hands forward. Taking a big deep breath in, filling the lungs, expanding the rib cage. And as you breathe out, softening the body into the thighs. Pulling the tailbone down and back. Activating the front of the ankles into the mat. Trying to flatten the shin bone, feeling the calf muscles engage. Rotate the shoulders back. Lift the collarbone. Reach forward with the fingertips. Draw the bottom corner of the shoulders, shoulder blades in towards the base and center of the spine. And then very slowly rock forward. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. And now we try something just a little bit more difficult. So one more time, strongly driving into the palm side of your knuckle joints, ensuring that no air, no light reaches through underneath your hand. Everything flat, the skin of the entire palm of my hand flat into the mat. Fingers length forward, pads of the fingers active into the mat. Consciousness all the way into the extremities. And I pull up on the biceps and triceps, suck the arm bones into their sockets, rotate the shoulders back, lift the belly, engage the glutes, lift the left foot now onto the chair behind you. Activate that left hip flexor to keep your body lifted. You don't want to sag when you lift. So I'm pulling the belly up and activating that left hip flexor so that I can seamlessly lift that right leg and release it onto the chair. Now we're going to walk our hands together. Now if you can't do the lift, you just try. So from the start, we're going to touch the left hand onto the chest and release it. Then right hand onto the chest, release it. I'm trying not to open up the hips here. I'm trying to keep the hips parallel to the shoulders and parallel to the floor. To do that, I've got to engage the obliques and the belly, abdominals strong. Touch and release. Touch, release. Touch, release. If you can't touch, you just try. You just try. And let's go. Touch, release. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And down you come. And sit those hips back. And now you can just roll the hips over from left to right and left to right and left to right. And come back to the center. Come back up onto the hands. And now onto the next level. Oh, thanks, Mum, for keeping me company. Right, let's go. Palms underneath the shoulders one more time. And driving strongly into the palm side of the knuckle joints, pulling up on the biceps, triceps, rotating the shoulders back, lifting the belly into the front of the spine, engaging the glutes. You can now extending the right leg into the chair, activating the right hip flexor and lifting the belly into the front side of the spine. Hello, my angel. And let's go. Lift that left leg. Extend it onto the mat. Right, now we're going to drive the hips up into the ceiling and bring them forward. Let's just do a few little pikes. Make sure that you pull your feet back towards yourself or the chair will fall over. Keep that where it is. Lift the hips up, draw the feet towards you, otherwise the chair is going to fall over. And bring the hips back down. Keep the hips at shoulder height, don't hang them down. Oh, we've got a bare bottom on TV. You've got no pants on, little lady. Right, let's go. And drive those hips, pulling the feet towards you. Otherwise the chair will go. And back. And hips to shoulder height again. And then draw those hips up. Drawing the hands towards the feet, feet towards the hands. As you lift the hips up. And drop them back down. We've got 5 left. Lift those hips up. Draw the feet towards you. Don't let the chair rock back. And 3 left. And lift. And 2 left. And lift. And 1 left. And lift. And release. You can take this moment just to stretch the wrists out. Chickens, puppies and babies. And grandmothers. Everything's normal in this household. Oh dear. Yes, puppy. Oh, hello. Right, so take this moment just to take the hand and stretch it back. And just put a little, make sure that this right arm is straight. Biceps and triceps are engaged. So that series on the hands with the feet elevated is hard on the wrists. So just take this moment to stretch those wrists out. And now here you can rotate your arm bone left and right through the wrist joint to stretch out all the ligaments and tendons which run across that wrist joint. Then take the hand onto the other side, and one more time, twisting, rotating the forearm through the wrist joint, rotating it out, then rotating it back, keeping the arm straight and the palm flat into the floor. Take that wrist, stretch that, shake that wrist out, and then with the left hand, palm facing up, forearm in 0 point, therefore so not rotated in nor neither out, just to the center, and just gently stretching the front of the wrist. And then once it feels it's opened up a little bit, then I can start rotating that arm bone left and right through the wrist joint. Left and right through the wrist joint. Then lift, put the palm into the floor, and nice and slowly rotating that left. Leave that there, sweetheart. Leave it there.
You can sit with me.
Mom is taking a video.
Can sit with me.
And just come to the side a little so everybody can see me. Just come a little to the side. Super. And then rotating that forearm left and right through the wrist joint, stretching all the ligaments and tendons and muscles across the wrist, and release and shake it out a little.
And then it's back, yeah.
And now we're ready for the next. Right, let's, if you can, come onto the knuckles now. So make a fist, and driving strongly into the first 2 knuckle joints. So I'm not hanging into the outside here. I don't want to be hanging here. I'm going to put forces on the wrist. So I'm driving strongly into these first 2, visualizing Wolverine claws that I've driven like spikes down into the floor. Shoulders, wrists are underneath the shoulders.
Yeah.
Those are not for you to chew, sweetheart. Those are not for you to chew. And here we go. Oh, yes, okay, puppy's chewing feet. Okay, so driving strongly into the first 2 fingers. In fact, imagine these Wolverine claws that I've driven into the ground. Pulling up strongly on the biceps and the triceps. Sucking the arm bones into the sockets, rotating the shoulders back and round. Draw the belly up into the front side of the rib cage. Engage the glutes into the base of the spine. So I imagine my glutes and I squeeze them from the outside into the base of the spine. Then I lift the left leg, extend it onto the chair. Engage the left hip flexor, lift the belly up into the front side of the spine, drive into the first 2 fingers, and release the right leg.
1, 2, 3,
And the chicken. And then, drawing the belly up strongly into the front side of the spine, engaging all the muscles of the abdomen, I lift the left hand and plant the palm. Right hand, palm. Left hand, knuckle. Right hand, knuckle. Left palm. Right palm. Left knuckle. Right knuckle. Left palm. Right palm. Left knuckle. Right knuckle. Left palm. Right palm. And let's drop down onto the elbows and hold it for 20, 19, 18, 17, drawing the belly up into the front of the spine, flattening the palms of the hands into the floor, making sure the wrists are driving strongly into the floor. Shoulder blades rotated round and back, belly lifted up into the front side of the spine, glutes engaged, pull up on the thighs. Then put the left hand in the floor and lift yourself back up into push-up. Then right arm into the floor, left arm into the floor. Now right hand in, left arm up. Left arm down, right arm down. Left arm up, right arm up. Right arm down, left arm down. Right arm up, left arm up. 4 left. Down, down. Up, up. Down, down. Up, up. 2 left. Down, down. Up, up. Last one. Down, down. Up, up. And release. Come onto the knees. Draw the belly in, lift the chest. And then slowly, with the back arched, slowly bringing the belly button towards the thighs. And feeling the stretch go into the glutes and the lower back. Sliding the hands forward till you feel that torso flat onto the thighs, drawing the tailbone down and back, activating the front of the ankle into the floor, flattening the shin bone into the floor, reaching forward And release the head now down to the floor. Reaching the fingertips forward, drawing the shoulder blades down towards the base and center of the spine. So I'm really pulling my shoulder blade down. So I'm feeling a lovely stretch all up the arm and through the back of the shoulder, while I pull the shoulder blades back and reach the fingertips forward. Rotating the base of the shoulder blades in towards the center of the spine and down towards the lumbar spine. And slowly come up. And shake out those hands. Okay, let's do, we'll do a little side plank. Okay. So let's come on to the left side now. What I'll do here is, I think I'll just adjust my position so that you can see me from the side. Okay, so I'm not quite sure if you'll see all of my body from here, but we'll do our best. Now, just pull myself back. So excuse me, we're going to a little while for us to work out all the technicalities of this live streaming, but we'll work it out. Okay, so right arm into the floor. I'm going to take my left foot up onto the chair. And this position already, what I'm doing here is flattening my body into one plane. Imagining there's a wall in front of me here, and the full front of my left leg, my belly, my shoulders, and the right upper arm, the left arm, is flattened against this imaginary wall in front of me. I don't want the hips popped back. Stacking the left hip on top of the right hip, while I draw the belly back into the front of the spine, arch back, pull up strongly on that left thigh, bring the right knee up, and I'm going to squeeze and come up. And hold it for 10, 9, 8. All the weight now on that left leg. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. And now we'll just turn over and do that on the other side. If you can't manage the lift, no problem. You just try. So I'll still be strengthening. I'll do it from the other side now so you can see what it looks like from the back. Again, I'm flattening the full of my body into an imaginary wall that's in front and behind. Pulling up strongly on the lifted thigh, engaging the glutes, drawing the belly back into the front of the spine and arching back out of the hips. I don't want to be folded forward. Right hip stacked on top of the left hip. Left arm into the floor, pulling up strongly on the muscles of the right knee. And lift that left knee up and lift for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Again, if you didn't manage to do the lift, no problem. Maybe we should have started with something a little easier, which we'll do now. Okay. Right, so let's put both feet now on the chair. And we're going to turn now onto our side. So I've got the outside blade of the right foot on the chair and the arch of the left foot on the chair. I'm on my right side. I'm stack the left hip on top of the right hip. And then I'm going to squeeze and come up. This is not working on the chair. Okay. Right. Change of direction. Right, trying to see. So I want to get up here. Outside blade of the right foot on the chair and the arch of the left foot on the chair. Right foot in front, left foot at the back. Right obliques engaged, shoulders back, belly pulled back into down. What's happening to my video? Are you back? We're back. Okay, let's try that again. So outside blade of the right foot, arch of the left foot onto the chair. And it's just using your left hand on the floor. You can get yourself up. And then we're going to go down and squeeze up. Down, 2, down, 3, down, 4, down, 5, down, 6, down, 7, down, 8, 9, and 10. And we go over to the other side. Onto the left side now. You can see what it looks like from behind. So now I've got the left arm in the floor, left forearm on the floor, outside blade of the left foot on the chair, inside arch of the right foot, and you have to work a little just to get your distance right so that your feet are just on the edge of the chair, and maybe in future we'll bring ourselves a towel just to stop the chair from digging into the feet. Again, so it's a work in progress, so we'll streamline things as we go. We lift ourselves up, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And release. Okay. Right. You can put your chair to the side now. Put your chair to the side. And we're going to bring our mats, coming ourselves onto our mats, onto the back, to lie back now on your mat. I'll just adjust my camera position again. And we're going to lie back on the mat. Palms facing up, heels away, toes up to the sky. Draw the belly back into the front of the spine. And I'm going to lift the head just an inch off the floor. So with the head elevated just 1 inch off of the floor, pinning the shoulders back into the floor, I'm going to bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Looking up to the sky, pulling the both shoulders back into the floor, squeezing the right ear to the right shoulder, back of the neck long, slowly come over to the left, squeezing the left ear into the left shoulder, pull the throat back, back of the neck long, shoulders pinned back, chin tucked in, throat pulled back, come over to the right. Squeezing the right ear to the right shoulder, pull the throat back into the front of the cervical spine, pull both shoulders back into the floor, and come over to the left. Throat back. Collarbone lifted, shoulders pinned back, come over to the right. Shoulders back. Chin tucked in, throat pulled back, come over to the left. Shoulders pulled back. To the right. To the left. Come to the center. Back of the neck long, look over to the left side. Shoulders pulled back, throat pulled back, chin tucked in, come over to the right. Nice and slowly, back of the neck long, very slowly, turn to the left, shoulders pulled back, back of the neck long, come over to the right, slowly to the left, to the right, to the left, shoulders pinned back, throat pulled back, chin tucked in, back of the neck long, to the right, come to the center, bring the chin to the chest. Head should be screaming, throat, jaw, neck, lengthen away, chin to chest, lengthen away, chin to chest, lengthen away, chin to chest, lengthen away, and release. And cradling your head and your hand, slowly come up to sitting. Now just come into a comfortable cross-legged position. Lotus if you can, otherwise just a simple cross-legged position. Hands on your knees. And drawing the belly back into the front of the spine. I'm going to use this resistance of my hands to lift the collarbone, engaging the lats, rotating the shoulders back around to the base and center of the spine. And then drawing the belly back into the front of the spine, keeping the front body long, drawing the pelvic floor down, rooting the pelvic floor into the ground, into the mat, while I draw the collarbone up into the base of the skull, drawing the two ends of the spine away from each other. Suck the arm bones into their sockets. Engage the lats, drawing the elbows down and back. Back of the neck lifted, base of the skull lifted. Eyes alive in the light, wide. Turn to the left. Now just gently oiling those muscles, joints, ligaments that we set on fire in the last series. Drawing the shoulders back, drawing that left ear across, and slowly keeping the collarbone lifted, the belly drawn back, lats engaged, shoulders down, elbows back and down, come to the right. Drawing the right ear back, keeping the back of the neck long, chin tucked in, throat pulled back, shoulders pinned back and down, belly drawn back into the front of the spine, come to the left. And to the right. And to the center. Again, lift the collarbone, draw the elbows down and back, engage the lats, draw the belly back into the front of the spine, root the pelvic floor into the mat, and bring the right ear to the right shoulder, keeping the back of the neck long, the chin tucked in, throat pulled back, collarbone lifted, back of the neck long, shoulders pinned down and back, squeezing that right ear deeper and deeper into the right shoulder, and slowly come up and take it to the left. Left ear into the left shoulder, squeeze, 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 come to the center. Right ear to right shoulder, squeeze, 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 come to the center. Left to left shoulder, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze to the center. Roll out the shoulders a little. Bring the chin down to the chest, lifting the collarbone to the chin and the chin down to the collarbone, keeping the belly drawn back into the front of the spine, keeping the front abdominal wall long. Lifting yourself up and out of the hip girdle, leaning forward out of the hips, activating the shoulders back and down, rooting the pelvic floor into the mat. Then looking up and back, arching back, never folding back, arching up and back, up and back, up and back, over a huge imaginary beach ball behind you, never flopping back, but leaning, reaching back, and then back to the center. Roll out of those shoulders, and then you can take your left hand, put it behind your spine, basically the base of your spine. Take the right hand, put it outside of the left knee. Draw the two shoulder blades together behind you, and then using that left arm to keep your spine upright, slowly draw the left shoulder back, keeping the two shoulder blades pulled together behind you, not letting that right shoulder flop out of its socket, but keeping the right shoulder engaged back so that I'm rotating, twisting my entire shoulder girdle, like I'm wringing out a towel, twisting the spine, doing a lovely stretch and twist all the way up the middle back. Keeping the back of the neck long, drawing that left shoulder back, squeezing the two shoulder blades together behind me, rooting down through the pelvic floor. And release slowly. Little wiggle. Take the right hand, put it on behind the sacroiliac joint. Take the left hand on the outside of the right knee. Draw the two shoulders together behind you. Draw the belly back into the front of the spine. And slowly, keeping the spine vertical to the floor, draw that right shoulder back. Pulling both shoulders together behind me. Drawing the belly back into the front of the spine. Throat pulled back. Chin tucked in. Back of the neck long. Drawing that shoulder girdle deeper and deeper into the twist. And release. And a gentle twist from left to right now. It'll roll out of those shoulders. And reverse. And then you can lie back on your mat. Reaching the heels away. Releasing yourself now. Palms come up to the sky, feet drift apart. Little wiggle of the hips. And taking a big deep breath in. And as you breathe out, releasing all conscious instruction on the body.